you're in New Britain is you're going to be voting for a mayor next week. And with us, one of the candidates, Erin Stewart. First of all, good morning, Erin. How are you?
Good morning, Ray. Thanks for having me on again. How are you?
And I'll mention it again, but you do have politics in your blood. Your dad was, of course, the mayor of New Britain for how many terms? 2?
4.
4?
We only have 2-year terms in New Britain.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But he was mayor for 8 years, and my uncle, Dominic Bottolato, was a Democratic state representative from New Britain for a long time, too, back in the 70s.
So genetically, you're bipartisan, kind of.
Exactly.
You're 26 years old. This is your first shot, I guess, really at politics. You'll be running against the incumbent, and that's Tim O'Brien, who we do have an invitation out to. A couple of things. Number one thing I thought was interesting, the New Britain Herald has a story this morning in today's edition, and they're talking about both you and Mayor Stewart is saying, I stay away from the blogs, man. That's where the real vicious stuff is, and I guess your father gave you that advice as well.
I did. I've been saying it all along. I said the best advice my father ever gave me, and some of the only advice I ever really listened to, was stay away from the blogs. Don't read them. The New Britain Herald, they facilitate, unlike the current where you have to sign in with Facebook, you can sign in anonymously and leave comments, and there's a lot of vicious, very hurtful things that are being written on there, not only about me, but my family, and there's many other people that they allow it to happen to, and they leave it up there for everyone to see. I don't agree with that type of behavior. I don't like to tolerate it. Therefore, I just don't like to read it, because if you don't have the guts to put your name on something, I don't have the time to bother with it.
Let's talk about some of the issues that are in the forefront. One is, of course, if you remember Mayor O'Brien, the landlords are unhappy with him. Will you explain why?
Yeah, they're unhappy with him because as a gimmick to close a budget gap that he had by creating many new positions in City Hall for friends of his and political workers, they tried to institute a landlord fee, which meant that they would charge each landlord per unit $150 to register each unit with the city of New Britain, with no sure plan on how they were going to keep track of this, no computer system that had been purchased for tracking, no additional services in terms of inspections that would be provided. But there were also a lot of unclear answers. The fee went from $150 down to $100, up to $200, back down to $50. The whole thing was handled quite horribly, if you ask me, and it was a PR nightmare for him.
Right. And of course, the landlords will say, and in fact, there were some tenants, I believe, at some of the protests. They were saying, wait a minute, you think they're going to pay it? I'm going to pay it because I'm renting. My rent goes up.
Absolutely. Look, I'm a renter myself, and my landlord had the conversation with us about this is going to end up getting passed on to you guys if I have to pay $150 per unit. I mean, break it down, it's still an extra, $10 a month, but at the same time, I could be using that extra $10, especially if I'm living paycheck to paycheck. In many cases, for many residents in New Britain, that's gas money.
Hey, Erin, where are you on the Costco deal? I just noticed that Central Connecticut State University basically gave up 17 acres. Remember, that's going to go over there, I guess, by Target, where they are in kind of the north part of the city. Where are you on that Costco deal?
That is a $500,000 in tax revenue and jobs coming into New Britain. I don't understand why Brown hasn't been broken yet.
Yeah, and I'd love to have a Costco close. I mean, hey, what the hey? It'd be close for me. I don't
me too.
Drive to God knows where, Waterbury. Other issues. Your father always had a problem. Well, it's tough to run that town, and you only have so many revenues, as Mayor O'Brien has found out. Your father, of course, some people were saying, well, he was short in the police department, he was short in services, things like that. The city unions did not like him much. How are you getting along with them?
I think that I don't really think he had many issues with the unions. I think it was kind of a position that was blown up a little out of proportion. They did help his opponent out with one of his campaigns one time, but at the same time, I think you have to look at the bigger picture. I have a goal to meet in terms of meeting a budget that the city of New Britain's residents can afford. They have a goal to do in terms of protecting their workers and making it the best environment.
It's their job, yeah. So what they're supposed to do.
I think that my attitude on it is going in it with an open mind, making sure that everybody knows I'm not necessarily my father.
Yeah, I know.
In many cases, in many situations, and I have a different outlook. But I'm anticipating when I do win a good relationship.
All right. Well, Erin, I wish you good luck next week. Let's see what happens, and we will be in touch with you. Good luck. Do you have a website?
I do, www.stewartfornd.com. We got 8 days to save New Britain.
All right. Hey, thank you, Erin.